Hello YouTube, I hope you guys are doing well. I mentioned last time that we would start off this episode by looking around the map to see how the other factions are faring. It has been 245 days since we began our journey, and it seems that the Bell has already lost her island town of Sisterton to the north. Pretty interesting since it is the first time I've seen these two factions wage war this early. It looks like the Bell was caught being too far from their homeland since they have control of the 10 towers in the Iron Islands. Surprisingly, the Iron Islands are still holding on, although they seem to have lost Hammerhorn to the Westerlands. The Iron Islands are usually the first faction to be eradicated, since they like to declare war on everyone and are surrounded by pretty strong factions, and it looks like this will be once again reality in a little bit of time. Dorne is definitely the one expanding the fastest, but we did mention King's Landing was now part of Dragonstone back in episode 2. I'm guessing Tywin Lannister died quite early in this playthrough, and maybe the lack of their master tactician is the reason why the Westerlands haven't been dominating in Westeros like they usually do. If we look at the numbers, it seems Jon Snow and the Night's Watch were the first ones to lose all of their holdings. On the other hand, the Reach and the Westerlands are looking pretty scary, with the Riverlands and the North closely behind, in terms of power. The continuous wars have definitely put a toll on Dorne's strength, but I'm sure we could compete with the rest of them after a bit of time recovering. Now, we are currently leading the small army from last episode. We didn't get to make use of it since the enemy parties were basically defeated before we ran into them, so this time around, we waste no time in heading to support the nearby siege of Alnor. However, before we arrive, we find out that we had gained the lordship of Tyrosh. I think everyone was impressed with our exploits last episode, which included the capture of the ruler of Lys without suffering any actual casualties. Unfortunately, it seems the people of Tyrosh are tired of war and decide to rebel immediately. It was fun while it lasted. There really is not much we can do at the moment, given that the town is a little far if we want to march there with our army. Instead, we focus on catching up to a large force of enemies in the vicinity. Quaid can siege while we fight in the open fields, our specialty as a Dothraki horse lord. The strength of the party seems pretty close, and I'll let you guys watch the fight for yourselves.
On my flank! Stay close! Give him hell! Cavalry charge! Attack!
A good victory, and we decide to immediately support the siege of Alnor by letting the AI play it out. I think I mentioned last episode, but sadly, sieges still need some work. We were actually chosen as the fort's new owner, and I was glad it would provide a buffer for our precious town of Liz. I'm not sure why, but I always liked the idea of ruling over islands in strategy games, so I'm hoping to regain control of Tyrosh as well. After selling our loot, we head straight there and manage to take down a small party of rebels before we start supporting Doran Mattel in the siege. Afterwards, we head towards Misa Faer and let the lords under our command go their separate ways. Thankfully, we once again get ownership of Tyrosh, and on the way there, I decide to look for mercenaries at Mir. Now that we own 3 towns and 2 castles, we have to make sure we have enough warriors to defend them. Thankfully, we are rich enough to not ever worry about recruitment costs or wages, and there's a pretty good chance we are now the most powerful, or at least the most rich, vassal in Dorne. If not, we are certainly on our way there. Resuming our route, we notice a group of rebels. I'll let you guys watch what was basically indiscriminate executions. It was nothing personal, it was simply the result of their decision to rebel.
Kill them all! Charge!
I believe that eliminating any traces of the rebellion was our duty, and thanks to some other lords, this was accomplished on our way to Tyrosh. Here, we once again recruit more mercenaries and invest 70k into the infrastructure of the town. Chump change for us, if we are honest. We also pick up some goods to trade. Although we are not hurting financially, I believed it was a good idea to start a trading network to help our own towns prosper. Furthermore, it would allow us to patrol our territory since we are still at war, and I plan on eventually maxing out the trade skill. I'll provide a little information on what the cities in this area offer as merchandise. Tyrosh offers the cheapest flax, while Misa Faer offers wool, salt, and jewelry. Mir, while not under our control, still offers us the best price for grain and beer. And finally, Liz offers us the cheapest fish, date fruit, and olives. On the way to Liz, we learned that deserters were tormenting a village under our control. They would apparently ask for food and money and had even killed 2 of the villagers. We set up an ambush and were glad to find out that the deserters were not once part of the Dornish army. I'll show the quick battle as well.
Every charge!
Of course, we did not ask for any payment. It was simply our duty as Lord, and I honestly had fun defending the peasants who were paying their taxes. We eventually reached Liz, where I realized we had lost the majority of our Dothraki units and we were running around with a warband mainly composed of Dornish and mercenary troops. I decided to, at least for the moment, retire our call guards to the keep. They were the survivors of an exhausting campaign and deserved a rest. I plan on recruiting more Dothraki whenever we have a respite in the wars, but for now, we will command mostly the troops of our adopted home. I'll give you guys a bit of information on the present island since it does not really play a huge role in the show. Liz, like most of the free cities in Essos, was founded as a colony of the Balerian freehold. It mainly served as a resort destination due to its unmatched natural beauty. It is even said that the sunsets in Liz are the most beautiful in the world. After the doom of Valyria, Liz becomes an independent state, eventually rising to be one of the most powerful free cities. Contemporarily, they are known for their pleasure houses, their navy, which is strong enough to even rival that of Braavos, and their poisons. It was actually suspected by Varys that the fast-acting and nearly undetectable chemical known as Tears of Liz was used to murder Long John Arryn in the first season of Game of Thrones.
Everyone, kill them all!
Returning to our campaign, we once again had to teach some deserters a lesson on why they should not mess with villages under our control. We defeat them pretty quickly and begin to mount an offensive on the remaining forces of the Liz faction. Our enemies only have one town left, and they're basically all gathered there. To make matters worse, it is relatively close to our holdings, and I expect them to try and recapture them. One of my viewers actually wanted to see more battles play out. Shout out to him, Lone Wolf. I'll let the next battles play out for his sake, but feel free to skip them. In the meantime, I'll take time to shout out those who have commented on the videos up to now, as well as a few subscribers. If you guys want to appear in the next video, feel free to comment if you subscribed, or maybe mention how you prefer the series to continue after we make our own kingdom. Those who have commented include Maximo Doe, Lone Wolf, Leonardo, and Jomama, who have asked for longer videos. Some subscribers include Infinite Wolf, Matiniwick, Erdem, Jason Hunchak, Carson Wheeler, and Marcio Fernandez. Thank you guys as well. Just like I predicted earlier, the opposing faction has grouped up and began a siege of one of our castles. I immediately summoned a few lords, but it would take about a day for them to arrive. Until suddenly, a fellow Vassal has decided to attack the sieging party. I began to have an internal conflict about the situation. We could arrive late to the battle after he was defeated and probably transfer some of his troops that would get captured to our own party. We needed more warriors now that we had multiple holdings. On the other hand, we could join the fray and make a new friend, one who didn't hesitate to help protect our castle. We ultimately choose a former one, and I'll show the battle since the two sides appear to be of similar strength.
Infect attack! Oh, give him hell! Charge!
It was an easy victory, and Trobolt thanked us, although we should have been the ones to thank him. We continued to defeat enemy parties, but after a while, decided on calling more lords to the army and begin a siege. Thinking we heavily outnumbered the ones in the castle, we decided to let the AI play it out. However, we had to retreat once I realized we would have lost that battle. After waiting a bit for reinforcements, we once again commenced the attack, this time leading the troops. It's a quick battle, and I'll let you guys watch it, but feel free to skip ahead once again. I'm not sure why the first battle was so close. Maybe it had to do with us, the commander, not being there to lead the troops. The other times the AI has played out the sieges, we were just there as support. Unfortunately, after the battle, we are not even considered to receive ownership of the new castle. Not that I really wanted it, but I believe it would have at least been considered. It is here that I began to think Edouard Martel would no longer award us any lordships. The notion of independence manifested. but more on that next episode. Thank you for watching. I tried to make this episode a little longer as asked. I agree the last 2 videos were a little short, but I prefer to release them instead of simply not uploading anything. Make sure to like and subscribe. Next episode will finally have us making our own kingdom, so stay tuned. I'll see you guys then. Peace.